Sometimes people will come to us and they'll say, hey, Milton, if I could just reactivate 5% of my closed lost opportunities over the last 3 years, I can get X amount of revenue. Okay, cool. Before I go into like building a drip program and building all this content out that is highly specific and highly converting, have you done your due diligence of creating this data set? So that's the first thing that you want to do there. Now, one big thing to keep in mind, if the number one reason is timing and budget, and remember, we have a little bit of a skewed perspective here. Most of the accounts that we manage are either B2B, second is higher ed, and then third is nonprofit. All of these have large sales cycles, especially that B2B. And so that's where that timing and budget, and if you have multiple stakeholders, that's where that timing and that budget really come into play there, right? So let's break down those top two reasons. What does timing and budget really mean? When somebody says, I don't have the budget for that, what does that mean? When somebody says, I don't have the time for right now, or circle back next year or in the end of the year, what does that mean? I put this into two categories. One is real and two is fake. Basically, when a sales rep doesn't hear from a prospect for a long period of time, and then they basically email them over and over again, they're basically like, they get a nice response back eventually that says like, hey, I just don't have the budget right now. There's two reasons that could be happening. One, they literally don't have any money. There is no money in the bank and the interest rates are too high. The second is, hey, I just don't think that this is where I would spend my money right now. Being able to parse those two things out are super critical with how marketing can provide air cover and reactivate some of these deals. The second thing is timing. Same thing goes in there too. When somebody says, circle back with me next January. Hey, what happens next January? So we want to get more nuance. Is it come back next January because I don't have the bandwidth to think about this right now and you haven't prioritized this in my brain? Or is it come back next January because the board is going to meet for budget consideration? You want to try to get more specific there. Now, the reason why a lot of times sales reps, one, they don't have that information, or two, they are not documenting in Salesforce that second order thinking of what the underlying reason was for these. If I look at my close loss reasons and 50% is timing or budget, I'm going to have a additional field that drills down a little bit more into it.